Well, if Ben Carson is slipping in the polls and he's just dying on the vine, his fundraising has another way of showing it. In fact, destroying that myth. Ben Carson, with me earlier on Fox Business, talking about money in the bank. Take a look.
The people are the ones who have funded this. You know, I don't accept donations from billionaires who want to influence me or from special interest groups. I don't believe in those things. I think those are one of the real reasons that nothing that comes out of Washington, D.C. makes any sense, because it's attached to some silly special interest group.
So if a Marco Rubio is getting big support from some very impressive billionaires, what do you think of that?
It's not something that I would do. I would never be associated with such a thing. You know, he can do what he'd like to do. I'm just telling you how I am. And I believe that one of the biggest problems that we have in this country is that we've taken it out of the hands of the people and we've put it in the hands of special interest groups and politicians. This is not what America was supposed to be.
Well, do you agree with Donald Trump? It says that kind of backing from very rich guys says you're bought and paid for?
That's all very nice for him to say, but he was one of the people who bought and paid for people. So you know, it's kind of hypocritical for him to say that.
I read this Washington Post story. Two things amazed me. That you, Dr. Ben Carson, a acclaimed surgeon the world over, has a man cave, which was really cool. I never knew that. And that you sounded, despondent isn't the word, but just maybe passive-aggressive, angry at the state of this race. You said that it's discouraging to know that we're at that state in our country where people don't care so much about the truth. It's just what's sensational, what's the shiny object. It's all who's in the football game, who's on Dancing with the Stars, who's yelling the loudest. And I'm not sure that's what we need right now, because we've got some big problems in our country. What did you mean by that?
Well, I just mean that, you know, a lot of people are pretty superficial, and I'm hoping that they will become deeper, that they will actually look into what a candidate has to say. You know, I find myself, whenever I go out amongst the people and then we have a rope line, everybody's coming up to me and saying, "You're so different than what they portray you as. I love you." But, you know, I wish people would just do more investigating and not be so easily persuaded by people who have ulterior motives and control issues.
All right. I guess when you're stumbling in the polls, a lot of people want to know why, doctor, and I know there'd been talk that you want to revamp, reshuffle, maybe shake up your staff. It has yet to happen, but Jim Newell in Slate magazine said that your candidacy has been a standard bubble campaign, saying that you could blame your staff, but your campaign's problems have always run much deeper, that they're not the problem, you are. I'm paraphrasing here. What do you think of that?
I think you should have him come on and talk about that when all is said and done, and ask why he said that, and will he recant?
So when we talk about a staff shakeup, is that still in the works, Doctor?
We're going to certainly be altering some things in the campaign, and we will be talking about that quite publicly next week.
Next week. Okay, because one of the things that apparently a lot of these aides had been urging you to do is to attack back. But you said that they want me to act more like a politician, and I guess your argument was that's not me. So what can we look forward to, regardless of staff changes that might or might not be in the offing? Are you going to change your demeanor or approach or style on the campaign trail?
Well, I'm not going to ever be a nasty person. That's just not who I am. But I will point out differences, and I will make it possible for people to see that clearly, you know, it's the philosophy, and it's the life, and it's the accomplishments. One of the things that I want people to understand is you don't judge strength by the volume of proclamation. You judge strength by what has been accomplished in a person's life.
You've accomplished a great deal in your life, but do you ever feel, even those who criticize you say that no one can take away your smarts or your medical expertise? I mean, you've operated on people's brains, for God's sake. But that doesn't comport you or prepare you for life in the White House. It keeps coming up, and I wonder whether you've got a tighter response to that, because it's going to come up, I imagine, a couple of weeks from now in the next debate.
Yeah, the response is that, you know, our system was not designed for career politicians. It was designed for citizen statesmen. And what is much more important is the ability to take information and to make wise decisions with it. I can guarantee you that I've had more 2 a.m. in the morning difficult life and death situations to deal with than everybody else running combined. You have to know how to do that. You have to know how to use information. You know how to gather information. In terms of expertise, am I an expert in everything that the president will ever have to deal with? Of course not, and nor is anyone else for that matter.
You recently said that you agreed to an extent with Donald Trump that raising Bill Clinton in this presidential race is reasonable. What did you mean by that?
Well, President Clinton is a previous president. All previous presidents and their administrations are fair game for analysis and comparison. So just because one of the candidates who's running happens to be married to one of them doesn't take that individual off the table.
I think what Trump was getting at is that Bill Clinton, his relationship with then intern Monica Lewinsky, for the loss of respect of our politicians. You said that it even led to the loss of innocence in our children, quoting you, sir. As a pediatric neurosurgeon, I deal with a lot of children, and I see them becoming coarser and wanting to know what certain things are that they're hearing about on television, things that they would never have known about as kids before. I'm sorry to see that happen. I'm sorry that it was because of one of our presidents. It's pretty strong stuff.
Yes, I should be sorry. You should be sorry. We should all be sorry. You know, the fact of the matter is there is such a thing as right and wrong. There are morals and values and principles. We have to stop letting people sweep all this stuff under the rug and saying, it's no problem. Everything is of equal value. That's not true. That's not what made America into the greatest nation the world has ever known. We should not be willing to throw away all of our values and principles for the sake of political correctness. Absolutely not. We'll never submit to that.
But do you think it flies in the face of comments you've made that you would prefer a more uplifting campaign where you say, and I quote, you really deal with the issues and aren't tearing other people down? Wouldn't that be the equivalent of tearing other people down?
No. Well, I mean, the question was asked of me, what did I think of it?
Right.
I answered the question. Is it going to be the main thing that I'm talking about? By no stretch of the imagination, because we have such incredible problems to solve. Our fiscal irresponsibility, the size of our government, which continues to balloon, you know, a Congress that is not responsive to the people who send them there, you know, a country that is not taking, you know, the lead in the world, in a very dangerous world, and allowing others to do so, which is creating even more problems for us. You know, these are big issues. We have to deal with them.
You know, finally, Doctor, I'm sure you've heard this before, even among your legion of fans, that they say, you know, he is a calm and soothing presence, but I never see the guy get angry. I never see him lose it. I never see him get spastic. And while they kind of admire that quality, certainly a lot of people would prefer it in a doctor. In a president, we might need more adjective. We might need more in your face. What do you make of that, that you're almost too calm for the job?
Do you need somebody who's really angry with their hand on the button? I'm not sure that's the case. Believe me, there's plenty of passion there. There's plenty of feeling there. I wouldn't be doing this otherwise. Let me tell you, I would have my feet up and I would be relaxing and never setting the alarm clock and having a good time. But believe me, we have got to save this country. We've got to do it.
Real quickly then on this man cave, this lower level of your house, is it a man cave? How would you describe it? What's there?
It's not a man cave. It's a people cave.
Okay.
Nice, comfortable chairs, pool table, ping pong table, table soccer. You know, it's a nice, comfortable place to be.
Okay. I was just curious because you were the last person I thought would have a man cave. You know what I mean?
Up to 100 people can fit in there, so it's not really a cave.
Oh, okay, okay. Everyone welcome. All right, Doctor, always good seeing you. See you in a couple of weeks at the big debate.
Thank you.